What were the death squads? What exactly were the death squads? These armed groups emerged in various Latin American countries, particularly during times of political turmoil. They were known for their involvement in extrajudicial killings, massacres, and enforced disappearances. Operating mostly outside the law, these groups often received support or at least tolerance from government authorities. In the context of the El Salvador Civil War, which lasted from 1979 to 1992, death squads became notorious. They were primarily formed to combat left-wing movements and perceived threats from guerrilla forces. These squads were often associated with right-wing ideologies and had ties to military or paramilitary organizations. The activities of these death squads were brutal. They did not limit themselves to assassinations. They also engaged in torture, rape, and arson. In El Salvador, far-right paramilitary groups specifically targeted Marxist-Leninist guerrillas and their supporters. The government's backing made these groups even more dangerous, as they operated with a sense of impunity. One of the most infamous examples of death squads in Latin America was the Alianza Anticomunista Argentina, also known as AAA, which operated during Argentina's Dirty War. This period was marked by severe human rights abuses, where thousands of people were disappeared. Similar groups existed in Colombia, where right-wing violence was rampant. The impact of death squads on Latin American culture is profound. They representing a dark chapter in the region's history, filled with violence and repression. The legacy of these groups continues to affect communities today. Ongoing debates about justice, accountability, and human rights are still very much alive. During the Cold War, the influence of the United States played a significant role in shaping these conflicts. The U.S. often supported authoritarian regimes in Latin America, believing that they would help combat communism. This support sometimes included backing death squads, which further complicated the political landscape. Understanding the role of death squads is essential for grasping the broader context of revolutionary movements in Latin America. These groups were not just a product of local conflicts. They were part of a larger narrative involving international politics and ideological battles. The story of death squads is a reminder of the complexities of power, violence, and resistance in Latin American history.